Hello friends, this is Shraddha and you are watching Knowledge Center. You're most welcome in my channel. Today I will explain about the oxygen dissociation curve. In the last lecture I will explain about all the respiratory system means the complete respiratory tract and then mechanism of the respiration, inhalation and exhalation, then the structure of the lungs and lungs volume and the capacity. And today I will start the oxygen dissociation curve. There is a two curve, oxygen dissociation curve and carbon dioxide dissociation curve. So we have to learn these both. Okay, so what is oxygen dissociation curve? Okay, so in the respiration we just inhale oxygen. And why we inhale oxygen? Because the tissue want oxygen. And why tissue want oxygen? Because the tissue have to survive to produce ATP. ATP means energy. So to produce energy they want glucose and oxygen, and when oxygen combined with glucose, so it produce ATP and one more gas, that is CO2. So basically blood is to be just function like a transport. It transport the glucose and oxygen to the tissue, and then tissue make its ATP, and then another gas which produce carbon dioxide, it come again transport to the blood and going to the lungs, and after that atmosphere. Okay, so what is the dissociation? Dissociation means dissolve, how many oxygen dissolve in the blood and to transport to the tissue, and how it going to be transported. Okay, so oxygen dissociation curve, the main function of the blood is to transport oxygen, you know that, and it is reversible process. Reversible means it have ये दोनों साइड से होती है, means the product have to be again become the content. Now first I will just told about the oxygen travel in the blood in two form, means oxygen comes into blood. So the blood have two component, plasma and RBC. Main basically one is liquid present, that is plasma, and some content are present like WBC, RBC and platelets, and some protein are present, all of this. So main component which travel oxygen in the blood, that is two. First is a plasma. Plasma, it is just liquid form, and second is a RBC. RBC have hemoglobin. Okay, that's why it's going to be red. So first is a plasma and second to be the hemoglobin. So plasma, it is a watery substance. So just 3% oxygen dissolve in the plasma. Okay, so 3% oxygen travel through the plasma, and remaining 97% oxygen dissolve in the hemoglobin, means hemoglobin bind with the oxygen just 97% and travel to the tissue. In healthy adult, there is a 12 to 16 gram of hemoglobin is present in the 100 ml blood, means when you take 100 ml blood, there is a 12 to 16 gram of hemoglobin, and 1 gram hemoglobin carry 1.34 ml of oxygen. So in the 15 gram of hemoglobin carry just 20 ml approximate oxygen. Okay, and in a healthy body there is a 5 liter of blood present, and every hemoglobin have 4 heme and 1 globin chain. Okay, and heme made up with the iron atom, that is called Fe. So hemoglobin combined with the oxygen and make a HbO2, means hemoglobin oxygenated oxyhemoglobin. Okay, so when we inhale the oxygen, so the hemoglobin combined the 97% of oxygen. Okay, and then travel to the tissue. So the hemoglobin have 4 heme chain. Okay, 4 heme chain and 1 globin chain. So the 4 heme attached with the oxygen, 4 heme, but there are 4 are not able to capture oxygen at a time. There are only 1 heme attached oxygen at a time. After that, when one attached, then second one is open, and then second one attached with the oxygen, then third one is open, then third one is attached with the oxygen, then fourth heme is open to attach with the oxygen. So this is just a slow process. When one attached, then second heme attached with the oxygen, then third, and then fourth. So when we see the curve, so this is actually the curve. So what is in the curve? Partial pressure of the oxygen. means partial pressure versus what is the partial pressure means when you just take a container and fill with the gases. So what is the exactly amount of the particular gas in that beaker, that is called partial pressure. Okay, so that is the partial pressure of oxygen, I denote it here. And second one is a oxyhemoglobin, means percent of saturation of the hemoglobin with the oxygen. So this is the graph basically. So when we increase the partial pressure of the oxygen, so heme attached with the oxygen, and then when increase the partial pressure of the oxygen, then hemoglobin attached with the oxygen. So the graph will look like this sigmoid shape. Why it looks sigmoid shape? Because we have a particular amount of hemoglobin. Okay, when the hemoglobin attached with all the oxygen, so it's going to be saturated, 100% saturated, and the graph is showing in the straight line. Okay, so this is the basic sigmoid graph. Okay, but what is in a blue line? When you see the blue line, this is shift the right. Why it shift the right, I will explain. Okay, this is the factor affecting the oxygen dissociation curve. The blue graph is showing in the tissue, means in the tissue there is a oxygen affinity is increased, means there is a carbon dioxide affinity is increased. So when carbon dioxide is increases, so H plus ion also increases, because carbon dioxide attach with the hydrogen and make a bicarbonate H2CO3, and it again bifurcate to the H plus ion and H3O3. So increased level of the H plus ion. Second, when this reaction going to be done, so then temperature is going to be increase 2 or 3 dpg. Okay, so when these three components are present in the tissue, so the sigmoid shape graph shift to the right, and this left shifted graph is showing in the lungs, oxygen dissociation curve of the lungs. This green is represent that in there the carbon dioxide partial pressure of carbon dioxide is very low in the lungs. There is a higher partial pressure of the oxygen, and so when carbon dioxide decreases, so H plus ion also decreases, and then temperature also decreases and decrease 2 and 3 dpg. So the graph shifted left. So this is the graph of the partial pressure. Then zones of the oxygen and HB curve, hemoglobin curve. There is a two zones. First is the association curve, zone, and then dissociation zone. Association means when the partial pressure of oxygen are 100 mmhg, so hemoglobin is 100% saturated. Okay, how? And second one is the dissociation curve, means when partial pressure of oxygen is below 60 mmhg, so it is small reduction of oxygen mentioned in hemoglobin saturation. Next, function affecting oxygen dissociation curve. There are so many factors affected the oxygen dissociation curve. First is the carbon dioxide, means partial pressure of carbon dioxide in blood. So when the carbon dioxide partial pressure become increases, so obviously the hemoglobin which is present in the RBC in the blood, which is not bind with the oxygen completely, it have to be bind with the carbon dioxide also. Actually hemoglobin is become bind with oxygen and carbon dioxide both. So when oxygen is partial pressure is oxygen is higher, so hemoglobin attached with the oxygen, but in the tissue there is a carbon dioxide, partial pressure of carbon dioxide is increases, so hemoglobin detach with the oxygen and attach with the carbon dioxide. So that's why carbon dioxide affect the oxyhemoglobin. Okay, the next one is the H plus ion and pH. Okay, so H plus ion, when carbon dioxide increases, so the carbon dioxide attach with the blood and make H2CO3, and H2CO3 become again bifurcate to the H plus ion and H3O3. So H plus ion increases, carbon dioxide increase, so automatically H plus ion increases. H plus ion increase, so H plus ion also attached with the hemoglobin. So oxygen affinity of the oxygen is going to be again decreases. And what is pH? So there's the pH have a when hydrogen ion increases, then pH going to be down. Okay, so this is a question occur. Then when pH become high, so affinity of the oxygen become increases or decreases. So when pH high, then oxygen association become decreases. Temperature, when temperature increases, so the hemoglobin become not attached with the oxygen, means the percentage of making the oxyhemoglobin is going to be down. And exercise, when we do exercise, then more the oxygen attached with the hemoglobin. Then level of the carbon monoxide, so when carbon monoxide increase, so obviously means carbon dioxide increases, then the oxygen dissociation curve shift to right. And last one is the 2,3 diphosphoglycerate. So when increases amount the 2,3 diphosphoglycerate, so the oxygen dissociation curve shift to right. So basically there is a three factors: carbon dioxide, H plus ion, and temperature. These three factor directly affect the oxygen dissociation curve. Okay. So this is all about the oxygen dissociation curve, means oxygen transport with the blood, and main point is that the 3% dissolve with the plasma and 93%, 97% dissolve with the hemoglobin. And this is the oxygen dissociation curve, means it is showing the sigmoid shape curved. And then when we talk about the tissue, then it shift to the right, and when we talk about the lungs, so it shift to the left side. Why it shift to the left? It shift to the right because in the tissue, the higher level of the carbon dioxide, increase level of the H plus ion, increase the temperature, increase the 2,3 dpg, so they reduce the affinity of the oxygen. Okay. And in the lungs, there's a decrease the temperature, decrease 2,3 dpg, and decrease H plus ion, decrease carbon dioxide in the lungs. So the graph shift with in the left side. Okay. And then zones, there are two zone: association zone and dissociation zone. Association means when partial pressure of oxygen are 100 mmhg, so hemoglobin is 100% saturated. And dissociation, when partial pressure of oxygen is below 60 mmhg, so in small reduction in oxygen mentioned in the and hemoglobin saturation. And last one is the factor. So they are all the factor like carbon dioxide, H plus ion, pH, temperature, exercise, carbon monoxide, and 2,3 diphosphoglycerate. So this is all about. Thank you so much for watching.